When Emily turned 10, her grandmother gave her a gift that would change everything: a strange porcelain doll. Its face was a mask of pale white, its glass eyes held no warmth, and its smile was just slightly crooked, almost a sneer. "This belonged to your mother when she was your age," her grandmother explained, her voice low. "Take good care of it, and whatever you do, never leave it alone at night." Emily found the warning odd, but she accepted the gift graciously, placing the doll on a chair right by her bed. That very night, a sound pulled her from sleep. It was faint, but unmistakable: tiny, deliberate footsteps pattering across the old floorboards. She shot up in bed, heart hammering against her ribs, but the room was empty. Her gaze darted to the chair. The doll was still there, just as she'd left it, except its head was now turned, its unblinking glass eyes fixed directly on her. She told herself it was just a trick of the shadows, her imagination running wild. She turned the doll back to face the wall and tried to go back to sleep, but a cold unease settled over her. The next few nights became a chilling routine. Each morning, Emily would find the doll in a different position. One day, it was sitting primly on her desk, nestled amongst her school books. The next, it was perched by the bedroom door, as if it had been about to leave. Then, one morning, she woke up with a gasp to find it sitting right on her pillow, its cold, porcelain face just inches from hers. She started locking her bedroom door, a small, futile act that did little to calm her nerves. During dinner one evening, as her family chattered away, she swore she heard a faint, high-pitched giggle right behind her. She whipped around, but there was nothing there. When she tried to tell her mother, she was met with a gentle, dismissive wave. "Oh, honey, it's just your imagination. It's an old house. It makes noises." But it wasn't just noises. One night Emily was startled awake by a sensation she couldn't ignore: the feeling of tiny, cold fingers brushing against her hand. She snatched it back with a yelp and fumbled for the lamp on her nightstand. The light flooded the room, revealing the doll sitting right on the edge of the bed beside her, its crooked smile seeming wider than before. Her breath caught in her throat. This was no imagination. This was real. That was the last straw. Terrified and desperate, Emily grabbed the doll. Ignoring the chill that shot up her arm as she touched it, she marched to her closet, shoved the doll into an old shoebox, and sealed it shut with half a roll of packing tape. She buried the box under a pile of old blankets, slammed the closet door, and wedged her desk chair under the knob. There! It was done. She felt a sliver of relief, believing she had finally contained the thing that was tormenting her. She collapsed back into bed, exhausted, eventually drifting into a restless, dream-filled sleep. A noise shattered the silence of the night. A long, slow creak. Emily's eyes snapped open. It was 3 a.m. The chair she had wedged under the closet doorknob was now back at her desk. The closet door was wide open, and in the center of her room, illuminated by a sliver of moonlight, sat the shoebox. Its lid was torn off, the tape ripped away. The box was empty. Her eyes scanned the shadows, her body frozen with a primal fear. Then she saw it. The doll was standing at the foot of her bed. Its head was tilted at an unnatural angle, its glass eyes reflecting the dim light with a malevolent gleam. A scream ripped from Emily's throat, raw and full of terror. Her parents burst into the room, flipping on the lights, their faces etched with concern. "Emily, what is it? What's wrong?" But as the bright overhead light filled the room, the scene changed. The doll was no longer at the foot of her bed. It was back on its chair, sitting perfectly still, its smile as faint and unsettling as ever. Her parents saw a frightened girl and an ordinary doll. "It was just a nightmare, sweetie," her father said, trying to soothe her. "See? Everything's okay." But Emily knew. She knew it wasn't a nightmare. She refused to sleep in her room that night, camping out on the living room sofa. The next morning, the phone rang, jolting the quiet house. It was her grandmother. Her voice was thin, shaking with an urgency Emily had never heard before. "Emily, I have to tell you something. I forgot to tell you the most important part." There was a pause, and then a whispered confession that made Emily's blood run cold. "The doll, it didn't belong to your mother. It belonged to the doll mate." He was an old, lonely man who poured all his sorrow into his creations. "They say he crafted that one with his very last breath. It looks for a new owner when it grows restless." Emily's fingers went numb, and the phone slipped from her hand, clattering to the floor. The doll maker. His last breath. Her heart pounded in her chest, a frantic drum against the sudden, deafening silence. Every nerve ending screamed at her to run, to get out of the house. But she couldn't. She had to look. With a dread that felt like a physical weight, she turned slowly, her eyes drawn toward her bedroom down the hall. The chair by her bed was empty. The doll wasn't there. Her gaze traveled down the hallway. And there it was, standing in the middle of the hall, halfway between her and the front door, waiting.